Hey there, Lisa Pezik here, business and wellness coach. And in this episode of the Empowered Life podcast, I want to really break down this thought of how we nourish ourselves day in and day out. And as a business and wellness coach, I'm going to talk about the fundamentals. I'm going to talk about the things that we hear day in and day out. Like you got to sleep, you got to drink water, you got to move your body regularly, you got to strength train, you got to get some cardio in there, you got to eat unprocessed clean foods, you have to invest in your personal development and fuel your mind. But what if we took a step back and we thought about other parts of our life and other things that we could be doing to nourish ourselves? Because when we think about our body and we think about our business, we don't think about it in side lanes. What do I mean by that? We don't think about our business just in our content. We think about our content, our copy, our technology, our marketing, our social media, our leadership, our appearance, our business cards, our brand building, our networking. We think about the whole part, not just the many pieces that make up that part of having an online business or having a business. And when we think about our health, we don't just think about nutrition or just think about fitness. We think about that whole spectrum of fueling your mind, of sleeping, of water, of eating, of working out, of decreasing our stress. All of those things have to be on point and for us to feel healthy and vibrant and alive. And every single piece plays its part. And I started to think about my own life. And I started to think about in business how it's all coming together for me. And I feel incredibly blessed. I feel blessed to be a published author. I feel blessed to be a speaker. I feel blessed to have courses online. I feel blessed to coach women from the US and Canada and the UK. I'm happy. I'm happy with the coaching that I do day in and day out. But I started to think about my personal life and my own health. And eat right and exercise is something that I've never struggled with in terms of following a plan. Now, do I follow a plan to a T all the time? No, I'm certainly not perfect, nor are we going for perfection. But in my mind, when I think of being healthy, I would think of being free of diseases, being free of illness, being free of sickness, not being on medications. That's my nurse brain that goes that way. And my trainer brain goes to the eating right, eating whole foods, nothing processed, nothing packaged, not a lot of sugar, not a lot of inflammatory foods, not a lot of alcohol. But I've never thought about the other essential things that need to happen in my life for me to feel energy, for me to feel nourished, for me to get my health fully in check, a 10 out of 10, so that I can serve better in my business and I can serve better in my relationships. And when you look at the definition of the word malnourished, it means to be a victim of famine. And when we look at the word famine, it means there's a shortage. There's a shortage of something. And in my life, that shortage has not been the food that I eat. I certainly have enough. I certainly have enough healthy options. It's not been my workouts. I just completed an 80-day program with 35 other people online. I didn't miss a single day in 80 days, this 80-day obsession workout that we did through Beachbody. I didn't miss a single day. So fitness has never been the famine for me. Food has never been the famine for me. And when we flip it and we talk about what makes you nourished then, as opposed to being that victim of famine, nourishment is food or other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. Notice the first thing is growth and health. Growth. food or other substances necessary for growth. And it got me thinking about, why do I feel stressed sometimes? Why is my energy not a 10 out of 10? Why does Friday roll around and sometimes I feel like a Mack truck has hit me? Some weeks I feel amazing, and some weeks I don't feel amazing. And full disclosure, if I want to get to that next level in my own life, that's something I need to start looking at. And that's what led me down this path to start looking at other things than the conventional eat right, exercise, take your courses, put yourself out there kind of stuff that we know we need to be doing. And I started to think about, what do I want to feel like? That's the first question when you're thinking about what's going to nourish your body and your soul and your mind outside of the conventional things. The free things, should we say. And what's that feeling? I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel rested. And when I say peaceful, I mean my brain usually never stops. And when I say rested, I mean that I don't want to snooze 10 times and slug 7 cups of coffee by noon. And I thought about then, what non-food stuff is going to get me there? What non-kind of fitness stuff is going to get me to that feeling of peace and rest? And I started to think about taking a bath, reading a book for pleasure, not a personal development book, getting out in nature, going for a walk, getting out in the sunshine, watching something funny on television, maybe being intimate and having some intimacy, more intimacy in my life. Those are the things that help me calm my brain and feel at peace. Maybe doing nothing, just allowing myself to sit on the couch and rest my eyes. I can't remember the last time that I did that. And if you're already doing all these things, like taking a bath and reading books you enjoy and getting out in the sunshine and getting out in nature and getting a breath of fresh air and breathing deeply and watching funny things or whatever that is for you, that's what it is for me, then I applaud you and I've got to learn from you. Because in this build year, it's actually been a build 2 years for me that I've really been going at it in my business. I've been really focusing on what I eat and how I move, but not those other things that fill up my cup. And it got me thinking about the third question that I had to ask myself is, what more could I do if my soul was nourished? What more could I do if my soul was nourished? And I thought, I'd be able to serve bigger and deeper to the people that need me in my life, from my husband to my now 4-year-old, to my clients, to my team. I'd be able to be more present and more alive and more engaged. I'd be smarter. I'd have clear thinking. I'd be an out-of-the-box thinker and more creative if my soul was nourished. I could sleep better, I believe, if my soul was nourished. I believe my brain wouldn't be on 10 24/7 if I allowed myself some relaxation, if I allowed myself some time in nature, if I allowed myself to get my bare feet on the earth and ground myself with feeling connected to the grass and the ground and the woods and my deck or whatever it is that I want to put my feet or my hands on. I feel like allowing myself to rest a little bit and get back to the cleanest, purest sense of beings that we are could make me more rested, which in turn would make me more productive, which in turn would decrease inflammation in my body, which in turn would make me happier and more peaceful, back to that first feeling, that peace and that rest that I wanted to feel. And then the last question, how can I add this type of stuff in my life as a necessity? And I say a necessity, meaning we know that food and water is a necessity, but our breath is a necessity, our happiness is a necessity. All of it is necessary. It's not just I wish I had time for that, or one day I will get to do that. For us, going on a couple vacations a year, 4 vacations at least, at least one every quarter, has become a necessity for us and our family, because we want that time to shut off. We want that time to connect, because we go hard every other week of the year. My little guy is involved in a bunch of activities, which he loves. My husband and I are both business owners, and we coach other business owners. I also coach still in health and fitness in addition to business coaching. So I go hard. So that rest is needed. But I'm really starting to realize that I need to be doing more outside of those 4 weeks of vacation. Because, you think about your phone battery, and when it's at 10%, you got to plug it back in and recharge it. And it typically has to recharge, every day, every other day, or it's going to die. So for me, it's a little naive in thinking that 4 weeks out of 52 is going to be enough to completely recharge that battery. And that's what you're doing when you're neglecting these sort of other things that nourish you. You could be completely malnourished and not even know it, even though you look healthy, even though you eat well, even though you exercise. There's many, many parts to that whole. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be alive and vibrant. And that's what I'm shooting for. So we can't just partly fill our battery back up. Our battery can't be at 10%. And one time a week, we decide to do something like this. That's only going to get us maybe up to 20% or 30% of our battery. And how long is that going to last for? We can't go back up to 30% and then run that sucker for another week. If you did that to your phone, it would die. The same thing is happening to you. So what daily practices can you add as a necessity? My husband and I are going to start adding a lunchtime walk. We're going to eat our lunch, we're going to lace up our shoes, and we are literally just going to go around the block. If the weather is awful, like it happens to be today here, we had a terrible ice storm up here in Ontario, Canada. Little guy was off school today. We're not getting outside today. So it's a lunchtime meditation. I'll tell you, I wish I could meditate more, something I'm trying to work on. For some of you, meditation, you might already be doing that every day, which is amazing. But those are going to be the 2 things for me, a lunchtime walk or a lunchtime meditation. Ideally, if I could do both, it'd be amazing. But I'm going to block that time from 12:30 to 1 o'clock every day to recharge my battery, to nourish myself. Remember, it said food or other substances. That walk is another substance. That meditation is another substance. And that's one that I'd love to be addicted to for growth and health and good condition. When we think about that word obsessed or addiction, it's always given a negative connotation. But what's wrong with being obsessed with loving yourself more? Obsessed with giving yourself those gifts of comedy or relaxation or intimacy or nature or family or sunshine or any of those things that are so, so, so important. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most nourished body, mind, and soul you could have, and 0 being you're dead, what is your nourishment level in your life right now on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to be honest. My nourishment's like a 4. I am not proclaiming on this podcast that I have it all figured out. I have eat right and exercise figured out. I have do personal development, write your copy, technology, launches, get your business up and running and maximized out there. That's a 10 out of 10. But in terms of hobbies and in terms of downtime and in terms of nourishing myself in other ways, I'm kind of sucking in that department right now. And all high performers are constantly evaluating every facet of their life, and realizing that even the smallest tweaks can make a world of difference. And walking, meditation, those are going to be the smallest tweaks for me. And your body will tell you when things are not right. We just choose to ignore it. It's like your phone, that battery goes red, it signals you. Things happen in your body too, and you got to pay attention. Like for me this past week, I've had this weird eye twitch of my left eye that's completely coming out of nowhere. And to me, that's saying stress, that's saying too much screen time and too much work, not enough sleep. And that was really an alarm for me that I let the work go too far in my life. And I can't just ignore something like this. Now, don't worry. I've had lab work done. All of my levels are fine. It's nothing. It's not a nutritional imbalance. Remember, as I said, eat right. I got that right. Not a nutritional imbalance. It's those other things that are happening that I'm not paying attention to, or other things I should say that aren't happening that I need to start paying attention to, like rest, relaxation, downtime, nature. This has been insane that it's April 16th, 2018, and we're still having ice storms up here in Ontario, Canada. It's supposed to be springtime, and it feels like it's January 16th. So I am definitely craving getting outside and sunlight and nature and all of it. So that's the way I'm going to nourish myself. What about you? Number one, what feelings do you want to feel to get yourself to be that 10 out of 10? What non-food ways can you feel that way? Can you make sure that that is going to happen? What things can you start to implement in your day? What more could you do if your soul was nourished? And lastly, how can you add those things that you plan to do into your daily activities as a necessity? A necessity, just like the way you sleep and you drink water and you eat and you breathe. What other things can you add in as that necessity? That's what I want to leave you with this week, because I want you to be empowered. I want you to be strong and confident and capable. I want you to serve bigger. I want you to love deeper. And that all starts with taking care of you. If you need more help, head to www.lisapezik.com. I would love to help you with my macros, muscles, and mindfulness course. Don't worry, I'm a master at the macros and muscles, but I just updated it to add some mindfulness practices in there that I want you to start tackling. I'll see you again next time.